إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير حد محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيف حالكم جميعا يا أيها الإخوة والأخوات? How are you today, oh brothers and sisters, bi'idhnillah? Alhamdulillah, with a heavy heart. Hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, in addressing this particular issue, and my humble and lowly estimation and opinion from one of the servants of Allah Jalla wa Ala, where we can see where the da'wah, the da'wah fi Ghurb, the da'wah in the West went wrong. And for those of you who may have been around in the 90s and who's a little bit older than me in regards to being a part of those communities where Islam seems to be at its height here in the West, in America specifically, with the establishment of the telelinks, the conference, with the dealing with the different mashaykh from different countries who are actually in the West, and all of those things. Alhamdulillah, if you honestly have to place where you felt, and I'm talking to those who are seasoned and those who have been around for this time, where you felt that the dawah have took a detour course. And then for those who weren't around for the 90s, and they're around for the 2000s, and they're around up to now, if you have to pinpoint where the da'wah went wrong as up to now, what would you say? I believe, brothers and sisters, that the bedrock, the foundation for which this deen stands upon, is based off al-ikhlas, sincerity. It is at the root, it is at the very foundational structure that the deen, the entire deen, is based upon ikhlas. Brothers and sisters, ikhlas in the Arabic language does not just mean sincerity. We might have been made aware of this word, ikhlas, for those who are fluent with the Book of Allah and reading the Book of Allah and even the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, they came across this word. Nonetheless, the word also entails a purification, a cleansing, as if a garment was completely khalis. It was free of holes. It was free of punctures. It was free of ripples. It was a pure garment. Sort of what we see in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he says, Ad-dinu nasiha, Ad-dinu nasiha. And the word nasiha also covers the same point. Also, Allah Jalla wa Ala, He tells Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam fi Surah Al-Zumar. He tells him after sending down the book and revealed in the book from Allah Jalla wa Ala Al-Aziz Al-Hakim, He tells him, فَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ مُخْلِصًا لَهُ الدِّينَ عَلَى لِلَّهِ الدِّينُ خَالِص. Okay? Allah Jalla wa Ala, He tells Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so worship is a command now. Worship Allah Jalla wa Ala, making your deen sincerely for Him and Him alone. I want you to understand this. It's not the deen, alillahi deen khalis, is not the sincerity. The pure and unadulterated deen should not be done only for Allah's sake and Allah's sake only. If you don't understand what's being commanded here, that's the bedrock, and we're going to continue, is that our deen is not for anyone else. Period. What you came into Islam for, to marry that sister, or to marry that brother, or to be a part of this group, or to have this individual, or be a part of a community, or feel as if you're part of this. For all of the different reasons you may have came to Islam, or been, attracted to Islam, or have been, interested in Islam. The very bedrock, the very foundation is that you have to make sure that your deen, okay, is for Allah. So if you came in just to marry that sister, that's okay. But during your journey, you're going to now have to make sure all of that is directed towards Allah Jalla wa Ala and not for so-and-so. Why? Because this is how Allah Jalla wa Ala have commanded and laid it down. As He told Muhammad, as we see in these verses, worship Allah. Allah Jalla wa Ala also says, Qul, say, Inni umirtu, right? And a'bud Allah mukhlisan lahu din. Right? So Allah says, say, O Muhammad, indeed I have been commanded to make my deen sincerely for Him. Meaning Allah. Allah Jalla wa Ala continues. And that I be of the first, and akuna awwala muslimin, those who surrender unto Allah Jalla wa Ala. فَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ مُخْلِصًا لَهُ دِينِي, and that I worship Allah Jalla wa Ala, making my deen sincerely unto Him. So the point I'm trying to make, and I'm going to move on, I think I begin to, that the first issue that the deen is based upon is sincerity. I believe, in my humble estimation, that this, and along with another thing I'm going to bring up, is where the dawah went wrong in the West. And even maybe can be applied abroad. Somewhere along the line, sincerity has been crossed. Somewhere along the line, this has been tainted. Sincerity. And no, I cannot say Fulan, Alan, or this individual or that individual, sincerity has been tainted. I have not been given that ability. I cannot go in anybody's heart and say that person's sincerity has been tainted. That person's sincerity has been tainted. That's not what I'm doing with this particular talk. So it's not me pointing out any da'i or any du'at, etc. Okay? It's not me doing that, because I can't go in their hearts and say that they were insincere. But I can say, based on the actions that we have seen, something along the line was missing. Do you understand? And I'm going to prove it, inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to prove it, why we see that some of these things are not the same now. Sincerity, brothers and sisters, is extremely important. Sincerity is something that has been commanded upon everyone, upon the scholar, upon the student, upon the layman. All of them have to be sincere. It's not just for the layman to be sincere. It's not just for the student to be sincere or the scholar to be sincere. It's for all of them to be sincere. Do you understand? Every one of them have to be sincere in their worship to Allah Jalla wa Ala. And so in fact, their worship is not even accepted without the condition of sincerity. You understand? Without that condition of sincerity, it's not accepted. Somewhere along the line, that has been crossed somewhere. I believe in the da'wah. We have got caught up in certain things, which we're going to see, inshallah. The next thing, inshallah ta'ala, I would like to bring is humility. Arrogance is a direct enemy of humility, of humbleness. Here in the West, there has been a systematic thing that has been taking place, if you guys have not been paying attention. And that is a brother, by the permission of Allah Jalla wa Ala, he goes abroad and he studies. Whether where he studies at, whether how further along he got in his studies, whether he achieved a certificate or a degree or even a tazkiyah from a sheikh, when he comes back to the West, there is a certain system that has been laid out, and there's a certain mindset that has been placed upon the people, both laymen and both students as well. And that issue have become detrimental in some way to the contribution of a community that is ran and based on complete harmony. We have seen fawda, chaos, have erupted due to the student coming back. And you might say, brother, what are you talking about? How many students have went abroad, came back to their respective communities, and begin to either want to teach or to teach, and it became a separation with or a divide within that respective community based upon gravitating towards that student or not. Another group of students or individuals who have studied, maybe not as long as the other student, somehow have already solidified themselves here in the West, and they have made themselves what we call quote-unquote gatekeepers. And they have placed within the community this divide that you can't take from that particular student, or you can't listen to that particular student, or you can't benefit from that particular student without going through us, and we filtering this situation for you. This is something that we all know, and this is not something that I want to harp on. But I want to show you something here. What's the elephant in the room, what's not being understood, is that not one of these students who went abroad and came back has specialized in anything. Now understand what I'm saying. You have students who have studied certain issues and certain sciences longer than others, but haven't come back, and I'm going to be honest with you, they have not came back as a specialist in any Islamic field. They will tell you this themselves. Do you not understand this? Why is I'm saying this? This is not to put down anyone, brothers and sisters. I want you to understand the deen, as Aisha radhiyallahu anha told us, is to put everything in its proper place. This is why the communities are amok. This is why you see a lot of shakhsiyah. Do you understand? You see people rallying behind this individual, behind that individual, and there's no harmony amongst any of them. And that if you join with this person or if you join with that person, you see what's taking place, right? But you're not realizing that it's upon the student to recognize his or her level, okay? Which want to help me solidify my next point. That is, if humility is at the root of the student, that student is humble, which the Prophet ﷺ has been advised by Jibreel alayhi salam to be a humble like prophet. If that humility was at the root, do you understand, of that particular talib, no matter how far he have got along in his talibah and his seeking knowledge, that individual will always be honest with himself in regards to his level. It will make him move in a certain way that would not be, again, as we seen, and this is shown, as if I can't deal with this person. I can't interact with this person because this person ain't where I think he should be, or this person is not this, or I'm not going to move with that group. I'm not going to. No, you wouldn't behave like that in no way, shape, form, or fashion. Not in a society where we are the minority of the minority of the minority. Not in a society where it is steep and it is the bedrock of kufr. Not in a society that is the bedrock of shirk. Not in a society that is destroyed within and out regards to jahl and ignorance. You cannot do it alone. You will not come back here to any community and try to contribute to it from a individual standpoint that I alone can take on this task. No, Sheikh Al-Albani made that clear. You're going to need thousands of shuyukh. And just so that we make this clear, the students aren't coming back as scholars. So we're going to need thousands of shuyukh. He was saying 1,000 scholars, but we're saying we're going to need thousands of shuyukh to may help or curve what we see have been taking place. So think about that. So we got students coming back that aren't scholars, first and foremost. Now let's apply Sheikh Al-Albani's statement, right? If he's saying it's going to take way more than just himself, the scholars that he believes, it's going to take way more than that just to contribute and help out, what you think about the students? It's going to take way more students than the students that we have selected, right? If we're thinking along this line, it's going to take way more students than the students that we have selected, right? So you tell me why. Up to this day, you tell me why the students are divided. I'll wait for you to tell me. You tell me why the students are divided. We're going to talk about why we believe they are divided, but you tell me why. It's a rhetorical question. Think about it. Why the students in your community are divided. Oh, brother, they ain't divided. No, they're divided. They have now done something which I ask Allah Jalla wa'ala to protect us all, but they have now, if you look at society now, they have now done something which is kind of scary, because I am a part of doing the same thing as well, but you have to be very mindful when treading on this thing. They have now begun to brand themselves. Because of social media, we brand our group or we brand our students. So you'll find these two students, you'll find this student, or you'll find this group of students branding themselves in a certain way. This is our brand. This is the name of our dawah. This is how we want to give our dawah. This is how we want our dawah to look. And if you don't fit this look or you don't fit this brand, and so that you know what's the problem with this is that the brand is a part of business. It's not a part of Islam. You understand? That's the problem. The brand is a part of business. Islam already has, if you want to technically speaking, it has its own system. You understand? But the brand is a part of business. I want these students, I want to look this way. So when we present information, we want the information to be presented this way. You might say, ain't nothing wrong with that. Right? You might say, oh, no, there's nothing wrong. But it is something wrong with that. If I, for example, come to a community that's in disarray, and there is a group of individuals, all right, pay attention. There's a group of individuals that comes, and they all can benefit the community on somewhat level. But because they don't fit into the presentation or the style or manner that these particular students wants to move or brand themselves like, they don't do ta'awun as Allah tells them to do in the Quran. They don't do what Allah Jalla wa'ala told Muhammad sallallahu waraka'u ma'ar raki'in, bow along with those who bow. They don't do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Muhammad, wasbir, remain patient, ma'alladina yad'una rabbahum, those who call on their Lord, day and night. They don't do that. So this group of students, what they do is they go scout out a certain place within the same community. Now you have to pay attention to what had been happening. In the same community, there has been a masjid, been here in this community for years. Not go to that masjid, not try to help that masjid. Let's not try to make sure we can lift up this masjid. They already established. No, let's go look for a building. Let's go raise money. Let's go get this particular building. Let's carve this out. And now we're going to present our dawah the way we want to present our dawah. Does that make sense? You tell me, does that make sense? Not alone the dalil that I can bring to you that you shouldn't have khutbahs going on all in the same area. That's number one. Bull Weiss already brought the dalil to that, going over the top of that and talking about hubb al-riyas and the love. You shouldn't be doing that. That's number one. It should be one big masjid for big khutbah for Friday. All right? It should be, honestly. Unless there is a total separation in geographical location where that one khutbah is not the same region is that other khutbah, okay? But you'll find individuals coming right back, scouting out masjids. This is what they do, so that they can give da'wah the way they want to give da'wah. What does that cost? You tell me. So the masjid have been sitting there for the longest, right? This doesn't cause no divide. I mean, I don't have to be a student to recognize this. This doesn't cause a divide. This doesn't call a calling to me, a calling to myself. Okay, so now we're going to take our resources and now we're going to spread them thin, so to speak. We're going to take the resources now and we're going to try to put it into this community and help it grow. And then we're going to take the resources and then we got another group of students that came back and then we're going to, put our money into their resources so their project can get off the ground. No, we got another group. We're going to help. That's what we're going to do. That's what we have been doing. If you haven't been paying attention, that's what we have been doing, right? We have been helping individuals who came back, who could be a contribution and a strong force if they work together, but have not been working together. And even though they want to paint the picture that they have, but they really haven't been working together as a strong constitution. And yes, I have been making the same gripe. This is not nothing new. If anyone that know Nafis Abu Zaid, if you watch my old videos, I've been saying the same thing. You tell me why we got a million different programs floating around in the same city within Philadelphia right now, and we got all of these different students, quote unquote, with a million different programs. Why they don't have one institution of learning? You mean to tell me, out of all of you students, you didn't figure out a way to get one institution? You figured out a way to get a masjid and raise money up for that, but you didn't figure out one way to get one institution of learning? And you came back with degrees? Does that make sense? I can tell you incidents of individuals, Africans, do you understand, in Senegal, who came back, 2, 3 of them, not 5, not 6, not 10, and they came back and established an institution. Indians did the same thing, an institution. Do you understand what I'm saying? An institution. It was established. Not I'm going to call to my brand and to my way of presenting ilm, and I'm going to have the people choose in which way they're going to gravitate. That's a divide. And that's something that is detrimental to what we're doing. We are being dangerous when we keep trying to brand ourselves in that way, and it causes us not to work along with others. The ta'awun is not seen. And then the commoners are sitting there looking, what is wrong with the community? Why the community can't get right? I'm telling you, at the root of it, brothers and sisters, again, somewhere along the line, we have forgot that this dawah is about sincerity. We have forgot that this dawah is about humility. It is not about calling individuals to you. It's never been about that. The dawah has not been about that. It's been to make Allah's word the uppermost. And that's where we see a lot of problems that's going on. Individuals are calling to their way of understanding, because that's all they can give you is their way of understanding. You went to study, he went to study, and then I'm only going to give you what my way of understanding is, who I got from my sheikh, and who I got this, and that, and that's the understanding I'm going to give you. And then that way it's going to cause a divide anyway, even though we both claiming that we're following Kitab wa Sunnah. Now let me get to the point. I'm going to bring a statement from Sheikh Salih Fawzan Hafidhahullah on the issue of unity. All right. First and foremost, we have to understand that unity is only can be brought about by way of Allah. It cannot be brought about any human beings. No human beings had to possess the ability to bring about unity amongst the hearts of the people. Period. Not one human being on the face of the earth can unify the people. I don't care who he or she is. Allah Jalla wa Ala makes this specifically clear. We will quote the verse a little bit later, inshallah. But no one has the ability to unify the people except Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's first and foremost. All right? First and foremost, Sheikh Salih Fawzan Hafidhahullah, comment on a line of poetry. تَمَسَّكْ بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ وَاتَّبِعْ هُدَى وَلَا تَكُ بِدَعِيًّا لَعَلَّكَ تُفْلِحُ. This line of poetry is hold firmly to the rope of Allah and follow the guidance, and do not be an innovator, one who goes outside that guidelines, so perhaps that you can be, or in order for you to be successful. He says that here in this line of poetry, O Muslim, hold firmly to the rope of Allah, which is none other than the Quran and the Sunnah, which is considered the rope of Allah, derived from the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself when he says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold firmly you all to the rope of Allah and don't be divided. He says that Surah Ali Imran, and also from the statement of the Prophet ﷺ when he says, فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِيشُ مِنْكُمْ, whosoever from amongst you who shall live after me, فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا, they will see or witness many difference. فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي وَسُنَّةِ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ الْمَهْدِيِّينَ, and upon them is my sunnah, giving them the solution after presenting the problem, okay, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned the solution directly afterwards. He says, فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي, upon you is my sunnah, وَسُنَّةِ خُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ مَهْدِيِّينَ, and the sunnah of my rightly guided successors, bin ba'di, after me. تَمَسَّكُوا بِهَا, then he says, cling and hold down firmly to that, hold tight to that. وَعَضُّوا عَلَيْهَا بِالنَّوَاجِذ, as if like you're biting down on it with your molar teeth. You're not letting it go. You got a deadlock on it, okay? وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتِ الْأُمُورِ, and be aware of newly invented matters that goes outside of what the Prophet ﷺ came with, okay? فَإِنَّ كُلَّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. For every muhdath, newly invented matter, is an innovation, and every innovation is going astray. This is a solidified hadith, brothers and sisters. For the sake of time, Sheikh Salih Fawzani continues. He goes, فَهَذَا بَيْتٌ مَأْخُوذٌ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ وَالسُّنَّةِ. So he stated these two things to show us that from the verse and from this hadith, that the author of this poem, okay, actually is in line with the Quran and the Sunnah when he says, تَمَسُّكْ بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ وَاتَّبِعَ الْهُدَى. Okay, hold firmly to the rope of Allah. All right, he shows that. He says, and if you want to, use another expression altogether to say that the rope of Allah is the revelation which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to his messenger, it is the same whether it be Quran or Sunnah. Taib, he says, what does it mean when it says hold firmly to the rope of Allah? Meaning that a person, he actually clings firmly to it, just as Allah says, then he brings another narration where the Prophet said, indeed Allah Jalla wa Ala is pleased for three things for you. All right, is that you worship him and that you do not join any partners along with him, that you hold firmly to the rope of Allah collectively and you not be divided. This is the point of what we're talking about, unity, right? And that's the point what the Shaykh is bringing. And وَتَنَاسُهُ مَنْ وَاللَّهُ اللَّهُ أَمْرُكُمْ, and that you be advisors to those whom Allah who given authority over you. هذه الثلاثة منها اعتصام بحبل الله. From these three things that were mentioned in this particular hadith, Sheikh Fawzani says, is the clinging firmly to the rope of Allah. لأن يقي من افتراق واختلاف. Because if you hold firmly to the rope of Allah, it protects you and I from two things that we are seeing right now within the da'wah here in the West. And we're going to continue to see this, and it's going to even get worse, inshallah, if we do not pay heed or take heed to this. Holding firm to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah is that thing which is going to save you from differing and separation, differing and dividing. Do you understand? Holding firmly to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah is going to be that which is going to separate you. It's going to save you and protect you from those things. Individuals are not getting along because somewhere along the line something is being crossed, and I believe it goes back to sincerity and it goes back to humility. Know your level, know your worth, know that with all of you working together there is a strength in that. It solidifies that you have not established one institution. That is a aib, and I don't care what no one's saying, and I don't care if any students like me after this, but you have not established one institution. Why? You established masjids, we got that down packed. We're going to get people to, we're going to go to the urban areas, and we're going to go raise up, and we're going to get people to give us money, and this, and that, but we're not going to establish one learning institute, but I spent all of these years overseas. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to battle you with it. So the layman, they're going to get browbeaten, and to get battled with, you need to be quiet. You don't know nothing about the deen. We studied. We did this and that. Okay. Now show that level of proficiency of education that you keep showing everybody the reason why they need to take it from you or why they need to help you support a masjid. Show that same level. Where's the education center? Why isn't there? Show that. Because everyone who got something to contribute, they understand that. Why haven't you established one center, not programs? That's all we have been doing, breaking up in schisms. I'm going to go over here and start a program. I'm going to go over here and start a program. In the same community, each community now have to choose on which program to go to. But if we're all in the same community, I can see you, you can see me, I can call you, you can call me, we can sit down, let's lay out a deal. No. Why? Because I need to be the top dog. Or no, I don't agree with your suggestion. Oh no, that's not how I want my brand to look. Oh no, that's not how we want to teach. Oh no, weird. Sincerity, brothers and sisters. Sincerity is key. Weird. Do you understand? وَإِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنُ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ حَوْنًا. Allah says, indeed, the servants of Ar-Rahman, they walk on the earth, يعني in hawna, in humility and humbleness. Is weird. And you want to know why the dawah has been doing the same thing and been stuck in the same paradigm for all of these years? Because everyone is somehow doing the same thing. The ones that we're trying to defend, the ones that we aren't, the ones who went a little bit extreme, who didn't, they're all doing the same thing. And if they didn't fall out with one another, they'll still be on the same point of minhaj. All of them will still be moving the same way. It's still not working. Do you not get it? So if you want to keep sitting here saying, oh, what's the solution? The solution is we need to change and become more sincere. That's what we need. We need to be more sincere. The goal and the ghaya should be the objective of holding the word of Allah up. It should not be to hold up the banner of one of our brands. Oh yeah, I'm Mahat ibn Taymiyyah. You know, I need to hold up Mahat ibn Taymiyyah. Everybody need to come to Mahat ibn Taymiyyah. No. I'd rather everyone go to one institution if we got 4, 5, 6, 7 brothers in the same community. Yeah, one institution. But no, I'm not going to work with Mahat ibn Taymiyyah. What's his level of proficiency? No, I'm not going to work with Maktab and so-and-so. I'm not going to work with Maktab Institute so-and-so. You see all of these different things? Do you not see it? Like, come on, man. You don't see it, and you wonder why we at where we at. They can't work together. And they'll tell you that they are, but they aren't. Okay, I'll do a lecture here. I'm going to write you over. I'll write you and my master to do, you do a talk here. Does that like working together? No, we have a goal and we have a goal. We have an objective that we need to do. In the land of kufr, brothers and sisters, we cannot, it's a disadvantage. We cannot afford to be disunified. This unity cannot happen. We cannot afford that. And that's how people are missing it. So pay attention what the Shaykh is going to say. He's saying to protect yourself, you have to stick cleanly firm to the book of Allah and the Sunnah. This is going to be the guideline, not the guideline on how you think the dawah should be presented. The Shaykh, he says here, he says, فَلَا يَحْصُلُ اختلاف والافتراف إلا بسبب عدم التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم كافتراق أهل الكتاب مع أن الله أنزله عليهم التوراة وإنجيل. And this is the lesson right here. He says that this differing and dividing will not have occurred except for the reason of the absence of clinging firmly to the book of Allah and the Sunnah. Just like we seen of the differing that have occurred with the people of the book, even though, or although, Allah have sent down to them the Torah and the Injil. They had it present. The Torah was there, but they still was divided. They had the Injil. The Injil was there, but they still were divided. Now let's get the point here. We have the Quran here, but we still divided. Something is wrong. I gave you the book. The Prophet ﷺ made it clear. I left you 2 things that you would never go astray with. The book and the Sunnah. Right? You still have the book and the Sunnah, but you still divided. That you don't see it? You're not getting it. You're still divided. You can't, brothers act like they're in Hollywood status. You can't contact one of the students. You act like you're not a celebrity. Akfi Allah. The tulab or ilm does not move the same way the kuffar move. It doesn't work that way. You need to be the humblest, man. What are you talking about? You want to quote Sheikh Al-Albani name. You want to keep throwing his name around. But ask where Sheikh Al-Albani was when he went to Medina. Where was he when he was teaching the University of Medina? He was sitting in the quarters with the students. He wasn't sitting with the teachers. Why was he sitting with the students and not the teachers? Why would he sit and eat his food with the students and not the teachers? Why? To be relatable. Humility, akhi. You understand? Humbleness. To be relatable. Do you understand? So people can relate to you. Do you understand? No, I'm going to act this way. I'm aloof. You're not aloof. You don't have a clue by yourself. You can't have one standing by yourself to figure out how to patch up all of the holes in this, godforsaken land. You don't have it, bro. But at the end of the day, you keep trying to convince yourself because you don't understand humility. You have to be humbled. Humility means that you work with those whom Allah Jalla wa'ala send your way, regardless of their level of proficiency. What they have. How you sound crazy. This deen was not based upon certificates or degrees. I challenge any individual to this day to tell me that. Bukhari didn't have one certificate. Imam Bukhari didn't have one certificate. Oh, but he had tazkiyah. Tazkiyah is not the same. A certificate is not the same as a tazkiyah. We want to debate that? Come on, I got the books. We can pull them out. And we can go over the different types of tazkiyah. And we can go over the different types of shahada, of certificates. Let's go. And we can break down when shahadas actually came in. Okay? But tazkiyah has always been around. But when did shahadas come in? Shahadas came in what? When the institutions started to come in. With the West. That's when they made it understanding, because it was connecting education with economics. That's what they were doing. So if a person had a degree or something like that, that plays a part with the economics. That's the reason what the certificates was for. Not to stamp and prove where your level of knowledge at, because that doesn't matter if you got a certificate. Because with Allah, it's based upon your sincerity and your amal, your actions. So if your actions are wasted, no matter how many certificates you have, it doesn't hold up any weight. But yet and still, people are moving just this way. This is the way that they moving, and they want you to come and rally behind their call because you're so caught up with the bells and whistles. Oh, bro, yeah, Fulan got a certificate. So what? What is Fulan doing? What is Fulan doing in the land that he did? What is the contribution that Fulan is given when he came back to this land? Is he divided? Is he promoting division? Is he calling to himself? Or is he calling to the establishment of an institution that will help and contribute to the community or the society that which he in? Tell me. I'll wait. Stop being so hoodwinked, man. Anybody coming back to you showing, yeah, well, look what I got. You know, I studied this. I don't care. I don't care. Let's get to the meat that is modeling itself after the institutions in the West. Yes, I'm going to need my level of proficiency to show that I actually studied. Yes, I need that for that. But if I'm going to go contribute to my community and help them raise and remove the ignorance from people, I don't need to flash my certificate around. That don't hold no weight here. Do you understand? You got people who are coming in with different challenges on different levels each and every day. Different social ills, different mental ills, different understandings and grasping Islam from a whole different bab. You have people who are coming to Islam for different reasons. May not be pure, some may be pure, some may not. But you still not understanding that the very thing, the very vital thing that holds you and make you binding is your sincerity. How sincere are you, akhi? How sincere are you? This is what you have to constantly check. Each and every one of us, even me, our sincerity. There's no way in the world to this day, I see it as an eye, brothers and sisters, that we can have so many students that we're talking about we're proud of, and we don't have one institution. That's an eye. I don't care what them students say to me. That's an eye. I don't care about the community, what you're doing on the side. I don't care about your little program that you got on the side. Alhamdulillah, may Allah reward you for that. I don't care about that. Even me. I don't care about my little programs on the side. May Allah reward for that. But why we can't come together and make an institution? Where's that? Oh, look what I did. And then we share it and we spread it around. Oh, the brothers are working. But nobody from the laymen are saying, I need you brothers to work together. You don't see the laymen saying that. No, I need you brothers. I demand that you brothers work together. Stop pulling me every which way. If I go to masjid so-and-so, I'm not down with masjid. I'm not down with the other masjids. If I'm taking from, student so-and-so, I'm not down with the other students. Stop doing that. You don't have to do that. There's no panel that has been made. All of these things are still here. That shows something is wrong, brothers. And we have adopted some of the things that we still had within the dunya, and we have placed those things within the deen. Do you understand? And now we have become hip-hop more. We have become street more. And this is the way that we move. We're doing that. And we're not working with one another because we believe that we are at a level. First of all, you should never believe that you're at any level besides being, humble for Allah and hoping that Allah accept your thing. They walked up to Sheikh Al-Albani, Sheikh Uthaymeen and the likes. Many of them we have these examples in front of our eyes. Sheikh Al-Albani started crying when the people started to praise him. He ain't doing nothing different than what you've seen Ibn Ahmed do, what you read that Ibn Ahmed did, or what he read that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud did. He ain't doing nothing that he's seen, that humility was the way to go. Nothing that he's seen different. He literally started crying. Ana Tuwaylib. We see Sheikh Fawzan. It's on video. You want to look at the video? You can go watch video. Sheikh Fawzan. They mentioned, Sheikh, people benefit from your books all over the world. Yo, Sheikh, this is that. The Sheikh said what? I am nothing but a small student. We ask Allah to forgive us. Where do you see the same demonstration being displayed amongst the people who are students here? Who aren't specialists, by the way. I just want y'all to know that, man. The students that come back aren't specialists. So stop that, man. Stop putting people on pedestals that don't need to be there. They're not specialists. They have not mastered one science from the science of Islam. They can hate me all they want. And I'm going to tell the truth. They haven't mastered one science from the science of Islam. Do you understand? Back then, the scholars used to be seasoned in every science. But yet and still, to one science they haven't mastered. But they want to come back and plaster a certificate in front of your face and make you feel as though, yeah, you need to be taken from me. No, I'm going to take from you when you start contributing to the community, when you start working together, when you start doing what Allah commanded us to do, when you start moving in that way. That's when I'm going to contribute. Because that's what we need. We need a solidified front so that the community begin to grow whole, that we can reach out to those people who are new, who are coming to Islam, who contribute to Islam. They need to have a place, a destination, somewhere where they can feel a part of, somewhere they can feel that they are growing along, that they are not left alone. This is what they need, but we can't get that if you're scattered here and you're scattered there and you're scattered there. We can't get that. That's the individuals. They don't understand this stuff, man. I don't read that when I read the books of the Sunnah. I'm reading all these books. Open it up, you read it. You see brotherhood was something that was etched in them. Why was it there? Because it took root. That's why. It took root, brothers and sisters. That's why. A lot of the information that we got, including me, it haven't taken root yet. And that's why we act and behave the way that we are, man. We're not cool with one another, man. We say that we are, but we isn't. Let's go to the verse. I want to mention this verse here, inshallah ta'ala, that Allah Jalla mentioned. I was going to tell you about the proof of the individuals where unity actually comes from. Sheikh Fawzan, he mentions this, and I could be able to stop here. The Sheikh, he says, وَالشُّرُورِ كَثِيرَ لَا عَاصِمَ مِنْهَا إِلَّا بِاعْتِسَامِ كِتَابِ وَاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ولا سيما في الأصل وأساس وهو عقيدة التي يجمع الله بها بين الناس. كما الله تعالى. He says that the abundance of evil, that there will be no protection from them except by clinging firmly to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger, especially in regards to the fundamentals and the foundation, is none other than the belief which Allah has united all of mankind upon. Where Allah Jalla wa'ala says, وَإِن يُرِيدُ أَن يَقْدَعُوكَ فَإِن He says, فَإِنَّ حَسْبَكَ اللَّهِ. Allah says in Surah Al-Anfal, وَإِن يُرِيدُ, and even if they were to try to deceive you, then Allah is sufficient for you. هُوَ الَّذِي أَيَّدَكَ بِنَصْرِهِ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. He is the one who aid you with His help and the help of the believers. وَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ. And He is the one who united their hearts. لَوْ أَنفَقْتَ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا مَا أَلَّفْتَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ. And if you have spun, he's talking to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you would have to spun everything, yani, and the heavens, everything in the earth, if you have spun everything in the earth, yani, ما ألفت بين قلوبهم, you still wouldn't be able to unite their hearts. ولكن الله ألف بينهم. However, Allah Jalla wa'ala is the one who united their hearts. إنه عزيز حكيم. Indeed, Allah Jalla wa'ala is Al-Aziz and He is Al-Hakim. فلا يؤلف بين قلوب كثرة عطاء وكثرة أموال بل هذه تزيد قلوب نفرة وتباغضا مهما أنفقت من أموال فلن تؤلف بين قلوب. So Sheikh Fawzan, he commented on this verse. He says that the hearts cannot be united by abundance of showering them with gifts. I'm going to give you this, or I'm going to give you that. That's not going to be the means that's going to unite their hearts. Or abundance of wealth. I'm going to give you this section. I'm going to give you this section. What we see people do. All right, we get under a nonprofit. They didn't figure that scheme out. And we put the masjid under the nonprofit. Then look, we all the same group. This is our bylaws. Yes, that's what they do. So our bylaws is this, right? Whoever agree with us, we're going to endorse them. Whether they proficient or not proficient, they got our stamp or approval, right? And this is what you've been seeing going on for years. And what we're going to do is we're going to carve out something for them. All right, that masjid over here, we're going to put you in that masjid. That musalla right there, we're going to put you in that musalla. Yeah, we're going to send so-and-so down there, and we're going to put you over here. And they've been moving like this as a group. Right? And you see this with some individuals. This is what they have been doing. So they have been solidifying themselves, pushing themselves. So the Sheikh said, even if a person does that, it's still not going to what? If a person meaning like with wealth, it's not going to do it. And he says the only thing that's going to, unite the hearts, truly unite the hearts, brothers and sisters, is going to be nothing other than the Quran and the Sunnah. He says, he says تفرقها بعد ما جاءتها البينات فقال. He says, so Allah Jalla wa'ala, He had warned us from what have occurred with those previous nations, from their dividing, when the clear ayats or the clear evidence have come to them. Allah says, وَمَا تَفَرَّقَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا مِن بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَتْهُمُ بَيِّنَةٌ. That the people who are given the book, they're not divided after the clear evidence reached them. So we have to see that, brothers and sisters, in the sincerity, and all sincerity, man, we have went wrong in the dawah for me in the West is when we really start losing the objective of Islam as far as sincerity. Sincerity has been trampled upon. Humility has been trampled upon. And the unity that we're supposed to be putting together amongst ourselves has been tainted because of that, and because of the simple fact that we're not holding firm to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah, even though we're saying it. Your version of the Book of Allah and the Sunnah is not the version. My version of the Book of Allah and the Sunnah is not the version. There has been an authoritative version on the Book of Allah and the Sunnah. All right, that has been the Sahaba version. So when you keep talking about you follow the Dawah Salafiyya, then what you're basically saying is that I follow their understanding and their tatbiq and their tatbiq and their application of that particular understanding. Do you understand? This is what we're basically really saying. So if the Sahabas understood this verse to be this, and they applied that verse this way, that's what you're saying. But when you come and say that, no, I'm following the Dawah Salafiyya, but I'm going to follow my version of what I understand, and I'm going to apply it the way that I want to apply it, there's a conflict. You see what I'm saying? That's not the same. And even though you're telling yourself that it is, it isn't. And then you wind up start doing what we see right now. Everybody calling to themselves. I know they're going to get mad at me for saying this, but I got to keep the haq, man, even if it's against me. I'm a part of that. Everybody's calling to themselves. If you look online, if you look right now, what do it look like? Everyone is calling to themselves. It looks like that, right? Fulan over there calling to himself. Yeah, I'm a part of it. I can't act like the haq don't go against me. We all have become divided enough to be calling ourselves. And guess what's funny, though? Do you know the funny thing about this? Allah Jalla wa Ala have said that this was exactly the same thing that the Jews was doing. يَحْسَبُونَ جَمِيعًا You would think that they were united, but their hearts were divided. This is the same thing that Allah Jalla wa Ala was talking about the Yahuds with. You would think that the brothers are united. They're not united, bro. Wallahi tallahi billahi, they're not united, bro. I don't know what universe or metaverse you might be in, but they're not united. Don't fool yourself with that. They are dealing with people who agree with them. If I agree with you, then we're the same. And then I'm going to work with you. But if I don't agree with your outlook, your presentation, or I don't feel as though that you have a level of proficiency or academia that needs to be pushed forth, this and that, then I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not going to say nothing about you, but the shade is there. You understand? And then you go inside their master, you ask them, oh, what's up with Fulan? You know, Fulan and Alan, you know, alhamdulillah, I love the way that he teach. I love the way he do such and such, such and such. And what happened? They don't say nothing. They don't want to say, you know, it's political. At this point, it becomes political. So they don't really want to say nothing. They're not going to praise the individual because they don't want you to, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they're not going to, it's the same stuff, man. The same stuff that this party was doing over here that you was mad because y'all no longer together. You're doing the same exact thing. The same exact thing. You're doing the same exact thing, man. Come off your high horse for a minute, man. Know that Allah Jalla wa Ala is the one who raises people. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives people what they have, not the individual themselves. Notice that. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who the success of any da'wah is going to be dependent upon him and not dependent upon you. No matter what you call to, no matter what you teach, it's always about the success of Allah. You learn that over and over. That's what Allah shows you. It doesn't matter. You understand? So if you really are sincere, I don't care if I work with so-and-so who got a low proficiency or low academic. I can work with him. You know why? Because I understand that the success and all that is with Allah Azza wa Jalla, and I am being sincere. He has something to contribute. He has something to contribute. He has something to contribute. Guess what? We in the land where we are the minority of minority of minority. I need that contribution. I need that contribution. I need that contribution. Let's get together. Let's form like Voltron, if you want to say. I know I'm going to get mad at me using that word, but let's not use that. It was something, you know, robots. You know, you understand what I'm saying? But it's like the elephant in the room. The Muslims do everything. I'm telling you, be honest. We do everything we ain't supposed to do. With the kuffar, right? We watch all of the shows. We tweeting when one of the celebrities die. We feel the pain of it. It's weird. We do all of these extra stuff, but then when it comes to amongst ourselves, we act like we can't say this stuff, or stuck for Allah. No, you're stuck for Allah. You know what I'm saying? Like stop frauding. The Prophet tell us about having dul wajhain. Stop having two faces. Stop frauding, What are you frauding for? You understand? And this is the problem that we have, man. It became so strict and confessed that the new Muslim is going to go out of his or her mind before they even taste the sweetness of Islam when they come inside the community. They're going to be confused. Oh yeah, you can't behave this way. Yeah, don't wear that. You don't do that. Or don't say that. You gotta be this way. You out of your mind. First and foremost, they ain't gonna be able to change 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of kufr that fast. That's impossible. They're not going to be able to change that fast. How you going to ask them? And then secondly, they're not even in the Islamic State. So how you going to ask them to act like they're in the Islamic State? Come on, man. They're minority. It's going to be a while before a lot of that stuff begin to change or make a transformation. It's your job to make sure they understand and grow along so that they can produce that transformation once it take root. Do you understand? Not for you to tell them, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And then when they do fall into it, which they are going to fall into it, which you should have known, but then you want to ostracize them. Oh yeah, shout out. So then they do this. They start hiding from the community. And then they go outside of the community and then they become themselves. But then they got to be afraid of that too, because that's hypocrisy. Allah talks about that. When they left alone with their shayateens, no, you should be able to feel that way amongst your brother and amongst your sister. Do you understand? Yeah, okay, I got an issue with music. Okay, alhamdulillah, I know it's wrong. Yes, I'm working on it. Why? What example do we get from this? The Prophet ﷺ dealt with a man who drank khamr. He would come faithfully to get his lashes. The man would come faithfully to get his lashes. Some of the companions who were stronger than him, and Allah Jalla wa'ala removing that from them, and they weren't touched with that. They would feel some type of way. Like, look at this man. He's a fool. He would come get his lashes. But what did the Prophet do? He gave him a tazkiyah. He said, "Rally, I bear witness that this man loves Allah and His Messenger." Even though he didn't give up the khamr so easily like it was for other individuals from amongst the companions. The Prophet ﷺ knew that this man still was a believer, even though he had mistakes with him. Why we don't see this? Why is this a problem? Fulan is still listening to music. Okay. Fulan is still, drinking. Okay. We're not saying okay that he should do it or continue, but we're saying that there's going to be a process for him not to do it. Because if you don't know, drinking is an addiction. It doesn't just stop. You don't get that? It doesn't stop because you tell a person, Allah said this haram. Okay. I still have this addiction. So I just supposed to turn off my addiction because you said it was haram. Or because Allah says haram. I can't process that right now. There had to be something that would take root. And this is why the kuffar, even in their studies, they said that one of the strongest things that help with this addiction, and this is what they say, you can go back to their studies, is that faith is at the top. One of the things that help deter an individual from removing himself from the addiction. But that faith have to take root first. And we can't expect that from new people who are coming into the community, or even from seasoned people who think that they aren't new in the community. We can't take that from them. We still have these same problems ourselves. All of us still have these same problems. There are battles that we are all still fighting, even me, till this day. No matter how long I've been calling to Islam, no how long I've been practicing Islam, no how long I have had Shahada, it doesn't matter. I still have similar problems that I have not overcome, or maybe not. And even there's a hadith the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that there's going to be a sin from each and one of us that we're going to continue to make until we meet Allahu Jalla wa'ala. Period, brothers and sisters. Stop this crazy fairy tale abstract version of Islam that is not real. Let's start making it real, man. And let's begin by holding those individuals who want to flash certificates in front of our faces and tell us that they're the ones that we need to take from. Let's start holding them to higher accountability. No, my son needs a school to go to because he goes to the Kufar school. My daughter needs a school to learn from because she goes to the Kufar school. Where's the institution, Akhi? Where's the institution? Okay, you got all of these degrees. That means something should spark off. We got all of these degrees. Alhamdulillah. Now, where is the institution? So that my son and my daughter no longer have to go to the Kufar school. They can actually come to the Muslim school. Where's that? You don't see it, right? Something that's not a ayat. I don't know why you don't get it. That's not a ayat. That's what I mean by ayat, brothers. That's a blemish. That's a flaw. That's what I mean by ayat. That's a flaw. You know what I mean? Shame on you. That's a flaw, man. You don't have this, and that. And the other individuals, you see it with the foreigners, they are able to do this. The foreigners are able to understand educational institutions, no matter how small they do this. The Africans right now, I got a beautiful brother who's a friend of mine, who's an African, an imam, and so forth. He have a Quran school that they're actually doing. The foreigners understand this. They're going to have these type of institutions, no matter how small they are. They're going to have it. The Americans are the toured up ones. They tell you don't look at the rappers, don't look at the entertainers, but they acting like celebrities. You can't call them. If you call them, oh, Aki, I'm too busy, or I can't get with you, Ak, or this and that. Come on, man, stop it. Just stop. Stop. Well, also, innal insana lafi khasr. No, the dunya does not preoccupy you that much. You must understand. You have to stop for a minute. Take a break. Take a breather. The dunya doesn't do that. Stop. And this is where you find individuals acting like that. So what they did is they got into a bandwagon thing and they started ostracizing people, and we started riding with them because we gave them that power. We started sitting back saying, yeah, Shadid is off it because he went to the movies, and that was okay. We started saying Shadid was off it because so-and-so said it. None of these, all the while knowing that none of these guys are scholars. We know none of them are scholars. And all the while we know that they watch movies on the low too. I mean, it was just so weird. Yeah, Shadid is off because of this and that. No, Shadid is off because he ain't rolling by your bylaws. That's why he's off, because he's willing to go outside and color outside of the lines a little bit, because you keep trying to apply an Eastern traditional way of learning to a Western standard society who doesn't learn that way. And then now you got a problem because you're being abstract in your version of knowledge and application of it that you're not even trying to meet it. No, Shadid said, no, I'm going to read these books and I'm going to take these books. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from them and tweak them and try to actually apply it to the audience I'm sitting in front of, which is a Western organization. And they're going to understand it and be able to chew it more better. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, Shadid is not perfect. He's going to make mistakes. But brother, you've been making mistakes and haven't retracted not once. So I'm supposed to be mad at Shadid because you have been making all the mistakes pretty much, and even some worse than Shadid, but you haven't retracted not once. Not once have you admitted to the people publicly that that was a mistake. Not once. But yet still I'm supposed to sit back and say, no, I hate Shadid Muhammad. Or I hate so-and-so. Nah, come on. No, let's be real with ourselves. That's not what we're doing. And we allow them to do that. We allow them to tell us that we can't take from so-and-so. We allow them to tell us that we can't do with this person. We can't deal with that person. And that's all it became. And we kept doing this and we kept doing that. And the dawah just, the communities was suffering because we have allowed ourselves to be pulled up into that. And we didn't hold them to a higher standard, even though they demanded from us to respect their scholarship. Because that's what they're telling you to respect. When they show you a certificate, they want you to respect their scholarship. No, Aka, you don't have a scholarship. Islam is not dictated by a piece of paper. That's not how your scholarship is respected in Islam. And any one of them can't argue with me with this. I challenge any one of them. I don't care where you graduated from. Your scholarship is not respected by a piece of paper. It's respected by what? Sincerity. Amal. How well did you apply the information that you have? And if you got further in your studies and you have mastered the science in Islam, walhamdulillah, how well did you get to this part in Islam? That's the issue. And we ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to realize that, to hold ourselves more accountable, man. I'm sorry that I went into a little rant, but it's just that we keep having the same topics and the same arguments and being stuck in the same way. Everybody keep asking the same question. How is the community going to get better? It's the same question, bro. Not realizing you play a part in the community. Community going to get better when you get better. How about that? Kept crying to Ali ibn Abi Talib. I kept crying to Ali ibn Abi Talib. Kept crying to him. Yeah, oh, the rulers. No, we had rulers such as Abu Bakr, such as Umar, and they had subjects like us. And now we have this, and we have subjects like you, and so then you have rulers like us. See the fiqh what Ali was saying? Do you see it? Individuals keep crying, when the community going to get better? No, when you get better. The community is made of individuals. It's not made up collectively. Do you not understand that? So when you begin to get better, when you want better and you start producing better, that's when the community will start getting better. But that community is not going to get better if you keep sitting there saying, when the community get better. No, get better yourself. Demand more of yourself. Then you can demand more of others. And once that take place and once that take root, then you can see, because you're not going to be hoodwinked no more. You're not going to sit under an individual who just flapping his gums, even Nafis Abu Zaid. You're not going to do that. You're going to say, no, what is Nafis Abu Zaid producing? What contribution is Nafis Abu Zaid contributing? What is his knowledge actually helping? This is what you're going to look at, and this is what you're going to take in, and this is what you're going to examine, and you're going to see how that benefits you. Do you understand? All of this is crazy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. We played into this stuff. We jumped into it. We started scholar hopping. We started student hopping. Every time they cast suspicion on one person, we jumped on the bandwagon. Every time they did such and such, we jumped on the bandwagon. We must as blame as they are. Because they pretty much, they came in with a plan. I don't care what you say. They came in with a plan. They said, look, we're in the land of the ignorance. We're going to go to these urban communities, blah, 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 blah. They already disarray anyway, and we're going to pull a number on them. And we're going to get rich from them. Yes, I ain't holding nothing back. We're going to get rich off these individuals. And this is what we're going to do. And we play right into it because that's exactly what we wanted to do anyway. We're going to play it. Well, let somebody come along. And they've been doing this for years, whether it's in the black community or whether it's in any other community. Look at the leaders that comes in front of you that have been doing the same program for years. Yeah, spitting all this emotional stuff, getting you roused up, telling you that this is what you need to be doing, but at the same time feeding their pockets and nothing in the community actually getting done better, right? It's the same exact format. But you're not looking at that because, no, okay, this is the dean. You can't say stuff like that. Astaghfirullah. You don't know what's in people's heart. Okay, but I know what I'm not seeing. There's no unity. I'm not seeing that. There's no establishment of institutions. I'm not seeing that. I know what I'm not seeing. So if I know what I'm not seeing, then I know something is wrong. Because if I look at the community that came before, they actually established these things. So what is missing? Because the community of Muslims before, they established institutions. They established certain things. So what is missing now? So you tell me that I'm not seeing this? No, I know what I'm not seeing. This is what I'm not seeing from all of us. So at the end of the day, don't sit here and tell me that I can't say this. No, I'm going to say it. The dawah has been torn up in the West because the sincerity has been tainted. Because the humility has been put off. And because people started calling to themselves and more to their profession and more to their proficiency and want you to respect their scholarship than others. That's why it has been tainted. And there's no unity amongst them and they don't even work together. That's why it's been tainted. And that as a masjid has been established for years, they're coming to establish another masjid right down the street from it. That's why it's been tainted. And the sitting of the individuals are sitting there, this is why it's tainted. And we're sitting there allowing it to happen. Yo, I want to talk to this person. I'm going to talk. No, you're allowing it to happen. They went all down the East Coast and did the same thing. They told them every community they went into, it did the same exact thing. And we all felt right into it, bro. We felt right into it. And we do it every time because they already got the format. And we don't see it. That's the format, bro. That's the way in the world. Come every time to your masjid. Brother come in, he speaks some Arabic. Oh yeah, this is so-and-so from such and such. Alhamdulillah, he don't look like you. That's okay, because I don't make that a problem. I don't care whether he look like me or he doesn't look like me. That's not my gripe. I know a lot of brothers want to say that we need to respect the scholarship within our own hands as if they're making a problem with scholars being from Arabia. No, I don't have no problem with that. I don't care if he's from India. I don't care if he's, what's that? I don't have no problem with that. And I'm not going to make my allegiance to an individual based on what nationality he is. I'm not going to do that because that's not sincere. Again, they go against sincerity. The Prophet ﷺ made it clear, accept your leader even if he was Ethiopian and he had a head of a raisin. The Prophet ﷺ made that clear. Accept your leader even if he was Ethiopian and he had a head of a raisin. Do you not get it? Sincerity. It's not based on nationality. It's not based on ethnicity. It's not based on any of those things. It's based sincerely off of sincerity. So if he is raised by Allah Jalla wa Ala, if he has been raised because Allah can only elevate him, then we're going to take from him. No matter what region he's from. You understand? So I'm not moved by that. Yeah, brother, we need more scholarship in our land. All right, then show me what the scholars are doing in our land. Because you want to keep talking about black pride, but what they doing in our land? They've been robbing people for years. So show me what they've been doing in our land. And I'll wait. Still arguing with the white man to give them some land. Okay. But coming up with all of these types of talks. But I'll wait. Okay, so leave me alone. I don't want to hear that. It's the same exact thing. I don't want to hear it because all of stuff you just want to hear yourself talk. You're not trying to do no actions at the end of the day. Let's do some actions, man. I don't want to see a million programs rolling around social media. I don't want to see, such and such just started a new program. Such and such started. I don't care for that. Let's get together. Let's contribute. If you need me to be the foot soldier, I'm okay with being the foot soldier. Yeah, Nafis Abu Zaid, we don't need you to be at this level, but we need you to be down here. Okay, you teach Aleph Bad Ta. Okay, I'm Aleph Bad Ta. Who's going to show up? Let's go. Aleph Bad Ta. Let's have it. But guess what? We are part of this system. Now we got an institution where our children can remove themselves from the Kufar institution and come to the institution of the Muslims, and we can teach them. And guess what? Now Nafisi, he's a foot soldier. He in there teaching Aleph Bad Ta. I'll be happy, even if I'm not even teaching Aqidah, even if I'm not teaching Hadith, even if I'm not teaching Quran. I will be happy. Why? Because we are contributing on whatever level we can. And that's how we're going to actually become proficient. That's how we're going to actually move, if we become strengthened and contribute in whatever level we can. But we don't do that. We don't do that, man. We have crazy reserves. I got to stop this talk. We have crazy reserves from one another, man. We really do. Brothers will think certain type of way about you, or think certain type of way this person, and they don't have no humility, man. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to actually help us, inshallah ta'ala. But prophecy is in front of us. We have a lot of different situations going on, and not one, two, or group of students have the solution for this problem. Wallahi, we don't. And if any group of students is telling you they do, they're wrong. No, and I know you might say, brother, you sell contradiction because you're part of the Fajr Club. No, the Fajr Club doesn't claim to have the solutions for every situation. No, the Fajr Club is claiming to discuss some solution-based remedies that we might can use. It's a discussion, brothers and sisters. It's not saying that we have the answers for every single thing, because we don't. But we are willing to work with those individuals who are willing to work and move forward for a good plan to help out of the community. And we are willing to work with, and you're going to dislike me for saying this, we are willing to work with and within the confinements of the Kufar Institute. And we're not like the other brothers who go to extreme. We don't work with the Kufar. You're not in the Islamic State. You're a minority. You sound foolish. We don't work with the Kufar. Oh, but you work with the Kufar for the nonprofit, right? You work with Kufar to get the zoning, right? You work with the Kufar when you go to work, right? You work with the Kufar when you do this XYZ, right? You work with the Kufar when you need to get that done, right? But no, we don't work with the Kufar. No, you work with the Kufar to knowledge them then, right? Come on, man. You sound foolish. It's abstract. No, we're going to work within the confinements of the Kufar. That's what we're going to do. We're going to work with the guidelines because we have to. Just like we got to give them taxes because we have to. We got to work in that. We are the minority, man. We are the minority. You have to understand that. We at a disadvantage already. We ain't in no Islamic State. We in the Meccan phase. If you want to get technical, we are in the Meccan phase. Even our students, we are in the Meccan phase. You think boys 100% on their Aqidah. Come on, you tripping. Ain't nobody 100% on their Aqidah, man. Anybody walking around here in the West right now talking about that 100% on their Aqidah, I'm going to look at them like they're crazy. No, you're not. You understand? It takes a lot to be well-grounded in your Aqidah. It takes a lot to embody it. Do you understand? It takes a lot. It just don't happen because you study one book and you went to the next book and you went to the next book and you went to the next book. It doesn't work that way. It have to take root. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to give us understanding of Islam. And what I mean by understanding of Islam, understanding of the Sahabas and how they applied Islam. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to imitate and to follow their example. And when I say example, the example of the Sahabas and how they practice Islam. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to unify upon the unity which Allah Jalla wa Ala intended and His Messenger intended. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to establish institutions based upon true proficiency within Islam, not based on no shahada, not based on no certificate, no, based on true Islamic scholarship. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to provide certain things within the community for newcomers, as well for those who already been in the community who are seasoned. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to provide for our children basic things that they can learn within the community. And we all ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to work with the non-believers and the confinements that does not go against His deen and does not go against the tenets of Islam, and that we work along with that so that we can get things established here in this land where we are the minority. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to allow us to see that. So inshallah ta'ala, again, this is not a shot. Yes, it is. I ain't gonna lie. It is. It's a shot at every student out there. Pretty much. It is. I am taking shots. Okay. I'm being direct now. It's a shot against every individual out there, whether you're on team A or team B. I'm coming at all of you next. Every one of us, my neck included, all of us we need to be ashamed of ourselves if we don't have one institution established and we're not working together. Yes, that's what it is. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallahu khairan.